We are live, and
I trust functional. I need to open the chat.
oh, isn't.
Yeah, 'cause
Okay, there we go. There's the audio.
Alright, I was about to say, nothing's muted unless frickin' OBS had a stroke again. No, I want to mute that so I can open music.
All right, I'm at least nominally back.
Good.
Okay, now it's my turn to leave and go get a drink.
Everybody conga lines out.
No shit.
Alrighty. I can unmute that now. Alrighty. So is everybody here?
I think. No.
Did Ogre actually leave, or was he joking?
I don't think he was joking.
Oh God!
It's not always obvious with him.
I know. Are we live yet, or?
Oh, we've been live for a little bit.
Okay.
That's the perfect thing you want to hear on your live broadcast. Are we live yet?
Well, I'm not looking at the.
Fair enough.
Yeah. Plus, I've got the sound muted, so it doesn't loop back.
As long as I make sure to have my mute as well, or else we'd be getting the infinite loop.
All right, I'm back with my refreshments. Who's next to leave?
Hopefully no one, because we need to get started here soon.
Yeah, it's
I'm
a
good.
hour.
I'm pretty much ready whenever. I just need to think of something so that's better than what I had.
Well, there's not much time in that area now. There's there.
No, especially no. I think I'll save a Turkey Day joke for next Tuesday.
Turkey Day?
Yeah, like on the 4th of July. Okay.
Well, because we missed an episode because of a Turkish holiday. Trust me, I have like an entire week to try to make the joke make sense. I can pull it off, maybe.
God damn it.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Okay.
Do I need to start playing the Jeopardy music?
I hope not. Like, so are we all ready to go here?
Yes. Yeah. Sure. I am.
Good. So, commence countdown.
Yep.
Okay. We can begin in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Fragments of Silicon. We're game if you are.
Welcome to another installment of Fragments of Silicon. As it turns out, the only installment this week. I know some of you were anticipating a Tuesday interview, but that got rescheduled at the last minute. Due to...
don't worry, we were too.
Yeah, well, it's something that happened like about 6 o'clock in the morning my time because, well, the guests live in Turkey, and as it turns out, it was a Turkish holiday, and they thought the show was going to be on Wednesday, and I'm like, no, it's going to be today, and they were like, well, you know, not all of us are. It's like there was only one person around, and it was the coders, so that's it was agreed upon that we would wait until next week to do the interview.
Hooray, open slots.
Yeah. And speaking of which, next week is our season finale. After next Wednesday's show, we'll be taking a 2-week break here, sort of.
Yeah.
I think MSP will run through it, and we'll have some other things during the break. But yeah, regular shows called off for until late July. Here, July 25th, or actually, it would be July 22nd. It'd be that Sunday when we do the first reviews of that season. Anyway, I'm your host Adam, and joining me as always are Galix.
Hello.
Petty Fan.
I am sentient.
Twilight.
Hello.
And Ogre.
Don't worry, friends. I shall be your shield.
One of us is going to make that reference.
Final Fantasy 14.
Yep.
Kind of.
Well,
It's
more of a
technically
reference to
Overwatch, but we've kind of taken it.
Who is it, Reinhardt?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's Reinhardt. The guy with the shield.
It's a beam shield. It's not like he's dragging around a shield all the time.
You have not seen passive arms. Anyway, Adam.
Yeah. Anyway, well, Twilight, why don't you go first?
Okay. Well, this past Saturday morning, we had an unwanted guest in our house. Of the person variety or the animal variety? Animal variety. Ah, okay. Around noon, my mother discovered a copperhead in our unused bedroom.
Ooh.
Yeah. luckily, was able to kill it before it could get away.
Yeah.
And nobody got bit, thankfully.
Yeah, snakes is a pain.
Yeah.
Well, copperheads are venomous, if I remember right.
Very.
they're-
You gotta cut
Oh
the
yeah,
head off.
they're
They're one of
very
the
very
one-
deadly.
they're one of the two most common venomous snakes you find in the south.
Hmm.
Well, besides that heroin experience, we had a water leak in our hot water tank, but we managed to get that fixed, thankfully.
Yeah, those are not cheap to replace if you have to.
Yeah,
Mm.
this one's roughly new. Thankfully, we didn't have to replace it. And besides that, been playing games for the show and been carefully making my choices on the summer Steam sale. Besides that, that's it. Next.
You make careful choices.
I don't know.
Like,
I do make good stuff.
all right, Galix, you're up.
Well, I was away at the local geek convention this past weekend. It's pretty close, so but I always stay at the hotel, so that was kind of fun and also kind of like stressful but fun. Mostly I picked up board game and card games, but they did have one of the collector's edition of Breath of the Wild for the Switch for a little less than I saw it on Amazon, so I got that.
No,
So
that's
I
still
spent a little-
above retail, or
Probably. I don't even remember what retail was for that.
Okay.
Anyway, I got that mostly because I wanted a Switch carrying case. Now I just need to get a another power adapter and a Pro controller, and I won't be bitching about how much stuff I don't have.
you can use a regular USB Type C cable on a wall outlet.
I don't know if I have one. Oh, yeah, I think actually that's what phones use now, isn't
Yeah.
it?
That's the new Android standard, so you can get them for pretty cheap.
Well, maybe I'll use that at least in the meantime. I don't know.
Mm.
Anyway, I also picked up Ever Oasis for the 3DS because that looked kind of fun, although I haven't had a ton of time to play it because I'm tired between both the convention and stuff changing at work. I moved to a different office and we have new equipment that's in a different room, and I'm trying to figure out how to get that arranged, and I need to have a chat with my therapist about some of that stuff. And maybe have a chat with the boss about.
You didn't contract con plague during your convention, did
Thank
you?
God, no. We have enough issues with the pollen around here and the weather being weird. But yeah, I've been having a bit of a stressful week or so, but not too bad. Because of the hotel and various other things, my Steam sale shopping has been minimal so far, but I did get a couple things that were like $1 each, I think. They were like, 75 or more % off. And I haven't had time to play the games for the show this week yet, but I probably will since I think we're getting out early on Friday. Or at least I am. On the plus side, I do have the 4th of July off from work and the day before that, so I will have some time to catch up for mental health without having to take vacation time.
That's good.
There are probably a few other things, but I can't remember them off the top of my head, and I feel like I've gone on run for a while, so whoever's next can go next.
Ogre?
It's been a pretty relaxed week, honestly. The weather has actually been quite nice. We've actually had the windows open.
Same.
And it got so with the fan on, it got so cold I actually had to turn it off or point it away a couple of times. I thought I was going to freeze to death. Let's see. Recordings are going pretty good. We're almost done with this next short one. The current ones being uploaded are that robot beat 'em up game, which was fun to record. It was fun mostly because it took us an hour to record the whole thing. I was flabbergasted that games could actually just be an hour long.
You mean we don't have to come back and do this next week?
You mean I don't have to do this for 6 more months? My God, whatever will happen whenever or if ever Persona 5 ever happens, because good Lord, that might be a year or two.
If Persona 4 is anything to go off of.
Yeah. Which everybody's going to take that as a, maybe they're going to do it now. It's like, no, we'll fucking see whenever, if ever. If being the more operative word.
Yeah, because
it's a game you kind of like in a series that you've done before, so it's on the maybe list.
Yeah.
Like by default.
Yeah,
also,
by default. But
I
every
think
time I see
Naka
a
would need a
comment about
PS4
it,
for that. Because I think the
Probably.
PS3 version has performance issues for
Yeah.
obvious reasons.
And I totally understand you guys having like post-Persona stress disorder still, so.
Well, I think a little more Naka because he had to do 3. So
Yeah. Especially Naka.
he had double the Persona to deal with.
Oh God, you guys
Yep.
weren't here when he was doing the year Persona 3.
Well, I think Persona 3 is like a more.
Until I'm done, okay? Because every week, week in, week out, he would complain for a very long time about Persona 3. Oh, the worst was that one battle where he almost quit the game. Like,
I don't know about that. I didn't watch any of it.
Well,
I'm not that big on Persona 3.
I'm talking about Naka's bitching about Persona 3.
Yeah, I know.
You know, it's like, you know, Persona 3 just left a very bitter taste in his mouth. So,
Well, especially because it won the voting thing because someone cheated, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think
was found out like at the very end of things.
Yep.
Like no, Naka was not happy that day or that week.
I wouldn't be either.
No.
Let's see. So, hopefully plans are in motion for some things to happen. I haven't done anything with the Steam sale yet. There's some games that definitely got prices cut for me. I saw Doom and Ukulele. I think Dragon Quest Heroes 2 got cut too, but I haven't put that on my wish list
I would
yet.
say for Doom, try the demo first and see if your computer can run it.
I have an inkling of a feeling that my computer can run it, but I don't know. Apparently Doom just likes to test PCs for some reason, like it's a tradition of sorts. So I may look into some Steam sales, hopefully before the event stops. Though I doubt it'll be the last sale for the summer.
Well, this is the big sale of the summer.
Yeah.
That's why it's going until after the 4th.
Yeah, it goes till the 5th.
Well, how are the Let's Plays going?
Oh, they're fine. They're
Like-
fine. They're just nice little things to do to kind of decompress after Paper Mario.
Yeah, I'm still trying to figure out if I've played Armored Warriors or not. Like
I don't know. This is new. It's new to me, so.
It feels like the kind of I want to say I played this game, but I'm like that may have been Captain Commando, like honest to God, like outside of like the mech combining thing, it's a pretty generic brawler.
Yeah.
So.
But let's see. I finally got my Paladin up to 70 last night in Final Fantasy 14. I would have been done probably last week, but life likes to throw you curveballs every once in a while and keeps you busy here and there. But really, other than that, not much else going on, so who's ever left is left.
I think it's me.
Probably.
So yeah, I've also been getting through Final Fantasy 14. I have Paladin and Samurai up to 70. So now it's basically just get the gear I need so we can start raiding here in a few weeks.
Didn't you finish the story last night?
Yep. I would suggest you go do that as soon as you can.
Well, not with this broadcast happening.
Did
Damn
they
you.
blow up the world again?
No,
No,
I'm just saying the bandwidth.
Yeah,
My bandwidth just does not like Skype, so.
yeah. But yeah, when we're done for the night, you need to go finish that. It's just
Dude, we won't be done for the night. We got the show afterwards, and
I meant with
after that,
MSP.
I'm just going to bed.
Um,
Anyway, your stuff.
aside
Wait.
from that, I saw the knee doctor, and let's just say I'm probably gonna be looking for a different knee doctor because this guy's a jackass.
They
What
tell
did
you
he
to
say?
walk it off.
He basically told me to come see him in 10 months.
Wow.
Okay.
Didn't give me anything for the knee pain. Just told me to do these different exercises and come back in 10 months. Even though my knee hurts so bad I can barely walk.
Wow. You seem to have all the fucking luck with doctors.
Yeah, so I see my primary care doctor in August, so I'm going to talk to her about possibly referring me to a different doctor for obvious reasons. Aside from that, I actually got a chance to play some of Kingdom Hearts 2.8 I got last week. I mainly did the Birth by Sleep thing. It's pretty fun. Like, if I would have paid full price for this, I would have been upset because of how short it is. But since I paid like $25 for it, I'm not as upset. It was only
Is
like
this the one with Aqua?
yeah, it's basically what Aqua was doing during Kingdom Hearts 1.
So basically the tech demo for 3 whenever that
Yeah.
comes out.
Yeah, it's basically
Not that that's a
thr-
bad thing, but
Yeah.
Jesus, get the hell out 3 right now. Just wherever you are, get the hell out here.
TGS is coming up soon. Hopefully we get a release date then.
How
I
do you
was
guys
playing-
think about 2020?
I was playing a video game or a game of Quiplash with some people a while ago, and one of the options that came up was rejected Kingdom Hearts titles, and one of the options was Kingdom Hearts 3.
Yeah. That's seeming about way too on the nose lately, so.
But yeah, other than that, I've just been kind of muddling through my games list, seeing what I want to stream on the off season.
Okay. Anything else?
No.
Right. So I guess it's my go. Well, you heard the most pertinent show news. Like, outside of that, things are building, quite nicely in season 8. Like, let's see. Got an update on my brother and his. Mentioned this a few weeks ago. He had a bit of a cancer scare, and well, he got the test results a few days ago. So as it turns out, the growth was a splinter.
That is definitely better.
Yes.
Oh wow.
We can laugh
Yes.
about this now, but this could have been far worse.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm
Yeah.
just happy.
The
we
results
can
are
laugh
in.
about it.
The results are in. You have Sagittarius.
Yeah. Apparently, it was a wooden splinter that he had let go for about a week or so, and well, the thing about wooden splinters is they're biological material, so
Yep.
So they just get wrapped up in tough flesh and then sort of dissolve into a lump of hard flesh.
right, and that's why it was kind of giving off the cancer alert. So, but thankfully, it's not cancer or anything, bad. It's just a splinter. Okay.
And also a good reminder for everyone out in the audience: if you're handling wood, always use a glove.
Yes. Well, it's like even if you're not handling wood, you can still get splinters from like plastic or metal. Like it's just those are not as bad as a wooden splinter because, well, they get stuck in your body. Nothing happens. Like it's an inert thing, but you get biological material, then your body starts going into overdrive. So, you know, hopefully lessons were learned, and he will be more careful in the future. Right. I think that's about it for news on this occasion. So merrily we shall roll along to the interview portion, and joining us for I believe the eighth time is John Pickett of MangaGamer.
Hello.
Wow.
Good to be back.
Indeed. Like, right. So, where to start? Where to start on this? Well, I suppose we should start with the upcoming Anime Expo. Like,
Yeah, we have Anime Expo coming up this Saturday, going through July 4th. And we just have a whole lot going on for that. We have a bunch of titles that we're planning to announce. So I hope a lot of people are going to make time to check our panel, or if they miss it for the concert or whatever, I hope they'll at least check our site afterwards. They can catch all the new games that we're going to be bringing out. We also have with us a bunch of different guests attending our main panel. We're going to have Keika Hanada, the scenario writer for Fata Morgana. In addition to that, we also have Hinoe Taru, who has been the artist for Key for many years. She did the artwork for Air, Kanon, Clanad as well. Also some of the artwork for Rewrite more recently. She's going to be there with us, and she'll have her own panel with us as well. And then we also have Yamakaze Ran coming in, and he is the main artist for Princess Evangile. And so he'll be there, and he'll have his own panel as well. Itaro and Ron will both be doing autographs at Anime Expo. So if anyone's able to come out, stop by our booth, buy a few things, get your autograph ticket.
Wow. And when are those panel sessions happening?
Our main panel that we're doing our announcements is going to be on Saturday night, from 9:30 to 11:30 Pacific. Itaro's panel is going to be Sunday night from 7:30 to 8:30 Pacific, and Ron's panel will be Tuesday afternoon from 12:30 to 1 p.m. Pacific.
Are you going to have any new information on previously announced titles as well?
Yes, we do have a couple that we're going to be announcing a couple things for at Anime Expo.
Right, and what sorts of merchandise are you going to have at the booth?
Oh boy, do we have a lot of different merchandise this year. Since we have the guests, we have a bunch of stuff to go with each guest. So we have like a bunch of Itaru's Dojin work, some of her art books, wall scrolls to sell with her. We've also got a bunch of stuff for Jakupo 3R, wall scrolls, posters, badges, Dakimakura, the hug pillow covers for the different characters for Dulcegno, which is what we're releasing 2 days from now on our site in Steam. We'll also have our hard copies of Rants available for the first time at Anime Expo. And we have a couple of other Alice soft stuff too. More badges, keychains, hug pillow covers. We'll also have a bunch of the character albums for Oz Mafia, our Otome game that's available on Steam, as well as the original soundtrack for that. To go with House and Fata Morgana, we have a bunch of different wall scrolls from that, and we'll also be selling the original soundtrack on disc there at Anime Expo.
Wow.
Yeah.
Sounds like you've got a lot of stuff now.
Oh yes, and that's not even counting all of our games and everything else that we're gonna have there.
Now, I suppose another question is, is there a all ages session and an R18 session with the merchandise, or how's that working? Considering you publish a lot of adult material.
So the way it works at Anime Expo is that we have to check IDs for people at the table, and if if people are under 18, there's certain merchandise that we just can't sell them. But otherwise, everything's right there on the table. Things that are blatantly adult have to be censored so that you can't necessarily see them as you're walking by the booth. But otherwise, they're right there on display. So
I see. And I'm like, how many years have you been doing Anime Expo at this point?
oh Lord, I think at least 2009. So probably 7 or 8 years now.
It's longer than I expected. Like, is this your biggest year yet?
We have been growing every year, so it's hopefully it will be bigger than last year. Yeah.
Indeed. Right, and as far as while we're on the convention circuits, what else do you have planned for this year in those terms?
The last two conventions we have planned for this year are going to be Otakon in August, and then Anime New York, which I believe is in November.
Like, when in August is Otakon?
It's the middle of August, I believe. I know it's in DC this year because they're moving from Baltimore.
Right. Like, oh.
Yeah, it's about August 11th through the 13th.
Right, and right, shifting over to like actual releases, as usual, you have a number of them, like the Dungeon of Corruption.
Yes.
I forget. Is this the one you were talking about last time?
I don't remember. I know Dungeon of Corruption it's sort of a mix of like tower defense and puzzle game.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's the idea with Dungeon of Corruption is the main heroines basically go through the levels in set patterns. And so you as the player have to set up an array of traps and monsters in order to basically combo the heroines into huge damage so that you can break their armor and defeat them and keep them from clearing the shrine and getting to the end.
It's a bit more active than the usual visual novel.
Yes, it is actually. It's much more of a gameplay one than most visual novels are. So,
And how risque is this one?
Dungeon of Corruption. Like I said, it's the entire point of the game is to defeat the heroines. So once you defeat them, typically whichever monster deals the final blow is the one that they get the scene with.
Ah, lovely. I can imagine what that entails. Like
Mm-hmm.
like let's see. Next up is Sweet Young Bride. Okay, that
Yes.
I'll admit the title's a bit disturbing.
And also
So-
descriptive at the same time.
So the thing with Sweet Young Bride is, I don't know how familiar you guys are with Japanese culture and the idea of the omiai, or the marriage meetings where people are set up by their parents to meet with someone and talk with them and decide whether or not they want to marry this person.
Not too much offhand. Like,
Okay.
sound like it's not an unfamiliar concept either.
Yeah.
I've at least heard of it. I don't know exactly how they make decisions about that, but
It's culturally speaking, the way omiai work is it's generally the parents working with other parents to set up the meetings between their children. But the reason why I mentioned that with Sweet Young Bride is because it sort of plays on that cultural idea a little bit, in that the premise behind Sweet Young Bride is that basically to combat the declining birth rate, the government has set up a registry where you can go and be like, I want to marry someone. and you fill in your information, you fill in what you're looking for, and then the government pairs you up with someone. And that's basically the idea of Sweet Young Bride. Is one of the guys who's like a salary man, working hard, doesn't have time to go find someone, finally sort of gives up, signs up for this program with the government, and gets a bride at his doorstep. And then from there, it's the two of them living together as husband and wife.
Like, yeah, it sounds like it's a bit of a cultural take on arranged marriages and all that.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, where the important decision makers are the families, not.
right. I
Yeah.
mean, I'm not sure how prevalent it is in like modern Japanese society, since it's not something I see in a lot of their popular media.
I would say right now in Japan, arranged marriages are very much on the decline because of the advancement of Western culture, but you still see a lot of what drove them in action behind things like the mixers, the different services that gather single people together to meet on whatever program to distract them from the fact that they're all there to just try and find someone that they want to date and marry. So it's one of those things where people are very much still using services and things like that to try and meet people. It's not quite the same as online dating over here because you don't necessarily get the person's profile before you meet them in person. But it's taken away that aspect of family arranging the marriages to more you're working with these services to meet people and hoping you can go to something more from there.
It does sound interesting.
Yeah. But yeah, no, like I said, Sweet Young Bride, it sort of draws on that concept for its premise. But what the game is more about is the sweet honeymoon lifestyle that the two are sharing now that they're hooked up by the government.
And I'm like, is this an all ages title or R18?
Sweet Young Bride is definitely R18.
That would be why I didn't see it on Steam.
Yeah. Our most recent Steam release is going to be Dal Segno, which goes on sale in 2 days. So it'll be available Friday. That one, it does have adult content because it's much like Da Capo 3 did.
Mm-hmm.
But we've actually had a chance to speak with Steam and get some clarification on their policies. And so we will be offering a free adult patch for it for people that are buying the game on Steam.
Okay. Well, that's good.
Yeah, so anyone that does buy Dal Segno on Steam, they'll be able to come to our site, log in, add the adult patch to their account, and then just apply it to their Steam version of the game and play the adult version on Steam that way.
We've encountered other visual novels that have done this. But it's good that Steam has made that official policy now, I suppose. Anyway, as for titles that I'm sure that are never ever coming to Steam, another recent release, and I know we've talked about this one because I remember the name, Funbag Fantasy.
Yes, we did. We recently released that in physical copy, so. And we have we have the sequel to it, Funbag Fantasy Side Boob Story, currently in development. It's fully translated. We still have some editing left to do on it before it can move into programming.
I'm like, now, will people be able to get the hard copy at, say, Anime Expo?
Yes, they will.
Right. And further, we've got the latest in the Higurashi series. Higurashi When They Cry, Ho Chapter 5 Mikazaki.
Miyakashi, yeah, that
Gosh.
came out not too long ago.
Yeah.
That
Like-
is Miyakashi is the first in the answer arcs of the Higurashi story. So the answer arcs are parallel to the question arcs. Chapter 5 specifically sort of pairs with Chapter 2, Watanagashi, and so it's told from a different perspective. And so you actually sort of, in the Chapter 5 itself, starts sort of answering and revealing the solutions in the other side to some of the mysteries that were posed in the question arcs and specifically in Chapter 2.
And how many answer chapters are there?
There are 4 answer arcs total, chapters 5 through 8. And then after the answer arcs are done, there's Higurashi Rei, which has, I believe, 3 chapters. And Ho itself has a couple additional chapters on top of that. The Rei chapters are more side stories that flesh out the story that's already there in chapter 1 through 8.
It does stun me how much Higurashi exists.
Yes, there is a lot of it, and it was because it's a doujin game that was developed over time, so it was originally sold chapter by chapter in Japan, and
Right. And have they continued to do well?
yes, they have definitely continued to do well. We have our programmer should be starting work on chapter 6 in the near future, I believe. So hopefully we'll be able to see something with that this year. And I know recently the creators of Higurashi sort of teased the idea of doing a Higurashi VR game.
Oh God. Like I could
That would be an odd choice, and not just because it's usually anime style, which is not usually the. Well, I guess VR doesn't have to mean first person perspective. It just usually does.
Yeah. The teaser, I forget the website name offhand where the teaser was, but you can find it. And it's just a video that they have showing sort of the concept.
Right. And so what have you been personally working on lately?
I have personally been working on a game called Maggot Baits by Clock Up.
Ah, there we go. That's the one I was trying to remember. This game I remember from our last conversation because
Yes, Maggot Baits tends to leave a very strong impression.
and yet it apparently isn't going to do the thing that I thought it was going to do.
Which was that?
Probably something I shouldn't mention on air.
Okay, fair enough.
Like, but yeah. So how far along is this one?
I am about 40% of the way through the translation on it. So, my current estimates, I'm looking at probably being done with the translation of Maggot Baits completely early 2018. There's still a ways to go.
I'm guessing it's not as monumental a task as, say...
No, it is nowhere near as long as Da Capo 3 was.
Oh, I'm like, that's good to hear.
Yeah.
That's definitely good to hear. Anyway, so plowing forward, the game we're going to feature next is a game that actually came out a fair amount ago, but it was like the most recent Steam release I could find that we haven't covered yet. Like, I didn't know that the other thing was coming out in like 2 days. So
that's fine. Just means we can cover it again next time.
yeah. Anyway, so the game is called Himawari the Sunflower. Now, is that like a direct translation of Himawari?
Yeah, basically.
It is.
It is.
Himawari literally means turns toward the sun, which is what the word for sunflower in like every European language.
Right.
The English one is just a little bit more on the nose.
Well, English tends to be that way. Like, it's like discussion for another day. Indeed. And I suppose the question beckons, exactly what role do sunflowers play within the visual novel?
Honestly, sunflowers play far less of a role than space. With outer space and aliens, and it's actually somewhat of a hard science fictional novel once you get past the initial common root, which so it shares that similarity with Higurashi. That
1 second, guys. I'm having some issues. Let me reboot Skype. Quit. Again, sorry about this, guys. Skype is just being dumb.
So getting back into things.
Okay, I think I'm back.
All right.
Yes, you
For
are.
now.
For now. Cross your fingers. Oftentimes he'll drop like a minute after he shows up. Anyway.
Really, Skype? You have to do this now?
more of a story-centric game. The focus of Himawari is definitely more strongly on the story that it's trying to tell.
Interesting. So how does the root structure work? Is it something that shows up midway through the game, or is it a series?
Alright, I'm gonna go off the air for half a second and try and reset my connection.